Welcome out, everyone, another edition of Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood, here on Mondays afternoons, 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. What a weekend of football. Our beloved Loretta Mustangs taking defeat Friday night against Columbia Academy, but a pink-out game going on, so no losers on the field that night. Everybody a winner. A lot of pink showing up at L.M. Forsyth Memorial Field in Loretto, Tennessee. Glad to have you along with us this evening. It's Monday, October 27th, 2014, a summer day outside, even though we're in the week of Halloween here. Got Kyle Johnson in the studio with us today. KJ, the warm weather doesn't even feel like football weather. However, we're going into week number 10 of the football season, and Loretta Mustangs have a bye week this week in week number 10, since we played week 0 through week 9 straight. No bye week, finally getting our bye week the last week of the season, but looking to hopefully host a playoff game in the first round of the state playoffs.
Yeah, with the TSSAA, it's all decided by committee. You never know, what they're going to be thinking when they go into the meeting to draw up all the quadrants and, who all plays where. You just never know, but there is that possibility, we could be hosting, and so that's, that would be phenomenal if we could do that.
We would absolutely love to host a game. Heard Coach Boyd in his post-game speech with Big Fred Friday night, and Coach Boyd says, hey, if we host a game, we'll see the checkerboard end zones. And no better feeling than to be in Loretta, Tennessee, playoff time in the football season and see those checkerboards on both ends of the end zone, or both ends of the football field in the end zone. Scenarios. Let's talk scenarios. On X-Sports Live earlier today, I'm thankful again to JP and the guys there at the X-Sports Live show. They have one of us from MustangsTV.com on there just about every Monday afternoon with them on their X-Sports Live show presented by Rick's Barbecue. And want to thank X-Sports for allowing us to come on and kind of partner with them during the football season, basketball season coming up. Kind of a brand new partnership going on with MustangsTV.com and X-Sports. Thank those guys for allowing us to get on there and talk about Loretta sports in a way. Talk to them today a little bit about basketball coming up with new head coach, Coach Ashley Rutledge for the Lady Mustangs, and Coach Micah Rochester and the Mustang team. And KJ, I'm excited about our guys basketball coming up. I'm also excited about Coach Rutledge, the new era beginning with her. So I was telling them it's probably some of the most talent I've seen as far as Coach Roach is concerned with the Loretta Mustang basketball team. Probably more the biggest pool of talent, I guess, in the same school year than I've seen since probably back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, the first practice was today, on for the guys and the girls basketball teams. Obviously, the basketball team on the guys' side, they don't have the football team members in there yet. So
right.
Now you're still a little limited on what all you could do, as far as practice goes. But it's got to be a great feeling just to be able to get everybody together and everybody you can, and just have that first practice, get it out of the way. The guys that aren't playing football, have that chance to get a jump start, if you will, and work on some things, work on some plays, and do some drills and just get better, and that's what it's all about. And of course, the Lady Mustangs, the volleyball team went and did a great job representing Loretto and Loretta High School in the volleyball state tournament, last week, and they just had a great tournament run, and so those girls that were playing volleyball were able to join the team, and for the first practice. And of course, girls soccer, I think their last game was a couple weeks ago. So everybody there for the girls side. So that's a great thing to be able to have everybody together. Right. For that first practice, get things started off on a good track, and And I'm excited about the basketball season. I know we still got some football left to be played, but basketball has always been my favorite sport personally. That's just I've got very fond memories of going all the way back to grade school well, I was the water boy back in middle school and high school, but it just brings back fond memories.
H2O.
Yeah, it brings back fond memories of just the whole season, and you get to feel. We've had some glimpses of cooler weather coming in, and that's always it always lets you know it's getting basketball season as well. But today's been a far cry from what this time of year usually feels like. You mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Absolutely.
But, it's
week of Halloween, and it's 80 degrees when I left the vehicle to actually walk in here earlier, KJ. 80 degrees.
That's crazy.
Right before 6 o'clock in the evening, and right here the week of Halloween, because I don't remember times where people was going out in their Halloween costumes and sweating.
Yeah.
I can remember times, though, where I would go out to a Halloween party or something and not have nowhere near the clothes on I needed to have because I got cold. So,
right.
It's just a weird change in our weather right now, but, cooler weather coming in by the end of the week. Let's get back on football, KJ.
Still got lots of good football left.
Lots of football left. Loretta High School, unfortunately, Friday night, took a loss to Columbia Academy, but when you get a 9-0 team coming in, an undefeated team coming into your house on a special Friday night, we had our pink out game, and by the way, the stands and the atmosphere at Loretta High School was totally awesome. I thought as far as a surprise when I come in and you start telling me about a helicopter landing in the middle of the field, I was like, wow, and when the helicopter came in, which was Air Evac, we want to thank our friends at Air Evac for their time to come actually fly the helicopter in and land right in the middle of the field, give the game ball to a survivor of breast cancer.
That was awesome.
It was totally awesome. Them coming in over the high school. We got a phone call coming in. Let's see who it is. Thanks for calling Sports Talk Mania. You're live on the show. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Who we got on the line?
It's Coach Boyd.
Coach Lee Boyd with the Loretta Mustangs football team. Coach, we were just getting into the atmosphere that we had Friday night at LM Forsyth Memorial Field, and the Mustangs dressed in pink jerseys with black numerals, the helicopter landing in the middle of the field. Coach, I know what it was from atmosphere from my side of it being up in the booth. Tell us what it was like out on the field.
Well, it was pretty surreal in the fact that you realize where you are, but nothing but a speck in the whole scheme of things. And as high school, boys or young men, they have a tough time understanding that from time to time. But I think it gave them a little better perspective on things that, life's much more than just a football game and just their next day at high school. It definitely has, ups and downs, left and right, and seasons. And our guys, they definitely felt the atmosphere. They knew what it was going to be like, when you try to prepare them. And, it really was something special for them they'll never forget. So it was pretty neat.
Absolutely, Coach. And, Coach, let's talk about this 9-0 undefeated team that come into our house Friday night. And, Coach, I'm going to tell you, my hat's off to you and the coaching staff because we could have laid down after those first couple of turnovers we had right off the bat, but we didn't. We seemed to play a undefeated team real hard all night long.
Yeah, I think I might have wanted to lay down after the first three. I looked at I called up to Coach Putman in the box and I said, if we give it back to him again, I said I might come get in the box with you. And he laughed. He said, "Come on, man!" And because it don't really matter what you're doing out there when things start going like that. But our guys showed resilience, and we did give them the ball back immediately. We had a pretty good scheme for what we thought they were going to do, They're a very aggressive defense, so they like to jack it up the field. So we were running our veer a little differently, and we were offsetting, which was causing them a problem. They were jumping outside thinking we were doing the outside veer, and we were kind of bending it back. And then, defensively, they've got a kid that we just didn't have anybody to cover him too well. But that's what a Division I receiver looks like.
Right. And Coach, one thing about it is the outside speed of their team. Like you said, and we were talking to people up in the booth from Columbia Academy, and they were telling us the same thing. It's pretty much a show of the quarterback and the receiver just about every Friday night, and they were actually bragging on the Mustangs somewhat on how we were able to actually slow them down.
Well, the biggest thing with us is they have run the ball almost anyone they wanted to, because everyone is so concerned with number one and the fact that he can throw it to number 1, number 8 pretty consistently. So they back off the line and they double cover or run a real like a dime coverage or maybe even a nickel backfield or nickel. And so what ended up happening was we said, we're not going to change what we do because of one person. I mean, we do respect him, but we're not going to change what we do for one person. And he made us pay, pretty early right there one time. And, he's a good player. That's what, Lamar Cooper does. And that's what several good ones do.
Absolutely, Coach.
But you can't just change your whole scheme for one person, because then they'll beat you with the other tools they have. They're solid across the board. They have good players in every position. They have, experienced players. Let me rephrase. They have experienced players in every position. They have been playing together for a long time, and they have stayed healthy relatively all year long. So we, defensively, we scheme to kind of bring Colby Staggs up on the line from time to time and let Kelsey and Eli Rawson. He's been playing real well at dog and doing some good stuff in the B team games, and he's tough as nails. So we put him out there at dog, and he played his butt off. And then I had Aaron Presley. We kind of matched him up with number 1, and I mean, he ran with him several times. But even when he was in good position, the guy just made the play over his shoulder. The one time he caught one, and we just swore we had it, and I thought he fell on the ground and he caught it. And then, the first touchdown in the corner down there that he caught, I watched the film, and I'm not criticizing the officials because they did the best they can, but if the end zone's, if it counts to put your feet down 5 foot outside of the end zone for a touchdown, then he scored.
Right. Well, Coach, you know as well as I do, we're not going to get all the calls, but and you also know as well as I do that one call don't ever defeat you.
No, and no, we didn't in our guys. And the main thing we kept preaching to them was this: they are an offensive-minded team. That's all they do is score. They put no less than 28 points up all year long against any opponent. Did not matter. The minimum was 28 points, and that was against a very, very, very tough Wayne County defense. They really couldn't slow them down. Wayne County just kept the ball away from them. And, it was the one thing that it's neat to see them. I'm glad I don't ever have to play that quarterback and receiver ever again, because they're both seniors, and I have been playing them for 7 years now.
Right.
Now we, offensively, Fleming, he finally got to see some of the things that we've been talking about with that style of what we were playing. A lot of times people will give us the edges and stack the inside. Well, this bunch would stack the edges and make us run inside, and he did a great job of that. He just, I'm sure that he deceived y'all. He deceived me one time, because I looked at one of my coaches. I said, "Why didn't he give it?" He said, "Coach, he's running down the field for a touchdown." And I said, "Why did he not pull it?" He said, "He's running down the field for a touchdown." And I said, "Well, that means we run it right." But he really did. It was right after the half. We come back and we let him run. We should have never kicked it to 1. And Bryce come off the field. I didn't have to say nothing to him. He said, I know. I shouldn't have kicked it to 1. And I said, well, I said, that's life, and let's just get past it here. And they come in, but we got it back. They tried to onside. We knew that was coming. I told the boys when they went out, I said, they're going to try to onside here. They're going to try to put you away right now. And I said, so, play in their tight. And they made a mistake, giving us the ball in the middle of the field, and the next play is the one he took to the house.
Yep.
And nobody in the stadium knew he had the football except him.
Yep.
And when he took it down in the middle of the field, that was the time I turned and looked at Coach Ritter, and I said, "Why?" I said, "Why didn't he pull that?" He said, "Coach, you did." So, and then we come out and fought him, made him punt, and and I know, I'm sure y'all were as frustrated as I was at the fact that we caught that ball on the goal line.
I knew you would be upset, Coach. Josh and I was actually talking during a timeout, and Josh said, "What do you think Coach Boyd's doing right now?" I said, "Coach Boyd is probably beside himself right now."
Yeah, well, I told him, I said, "Why would you catch that ball? How many times have we talked about putting it on your feet on the 10, and if it hits and they pin you, then that's fine, but why give them a chance?" And he said, "Coach, I thought I was on the 10. He said, when that guy runs out to the right, and he saw the guys coming, I guess he started backing up because the guy was running towards him, and that's just a natural response."
Right.
And he said, when I looked up, he said, I saw the ball. I thought, well, my feet are on the 10. And when he caught it, he even said, I thought, oh, gosh, I'm on the goal line. And there was nothing he could do from that point. And then, of course, we fumbled on the next play. And, and I asked Joseph, I said, son, what happened? And he said, Coach, it's the same thing that happened at the Lawrenceburg ball game. He said, when the hole's that big, I reached for it, and I should have.
No.
And I mean, he knew. He come off the field, and he said, I reached for it. And, somebody asked me, said, Coach, you've had some fumble issues and things that year. And I said, listen, I said, you can't coach fumbles. I said, the second you try to coach them, it will become more and more.
That's right.
So we don't coach the fumbles. We just tell them, let's, 3 points of pressure, get your hands over the top, don't reach for it, make a good pocket. But in the scheme of things, we hand it off sometimes 60 times a ball game. So, I mean, if you multiply that times 10, that's 600. I think we got 19 fumbles on the year. So if you go 20 into 600, I'm a little bit of a math guy. That's pretty good ratio.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Coach, I want to say one more thing about this past week. You was talking about Joseph Smith. And, Coach, I'm going to tell you what. I seen holes that I think you, myself, and even KJ could have ran through that Joseph Smith was getting the ball. And you know how usually when he gets the ball, he's expecting impact right there at the line of scrimmage. There was times the other night, I think it actually surprised him how big the hole was.
Well, we were actually running something we called, it's a belly play, and we called it sucker. We weren't going to block the guy on the edge. And we didn't. We blocked down, and we just run underneath him. And Joseph, he asked me once in a week, he said, Coach, if you don't block him, he's going to hit me in the legs as soon as I get the ball. And the first time we gave it to him, he went about 19, and we gave him a break there, and he come over, and he said, Coach, he still don't know if I have it or not. I said, I know, baby. I said, I know he don't. I said, just keep running. And what he didn't know if he wanted me to get north and south right there, because we talked to him about staying on their track, and he is still, I mean, I know he looks like a grown man, but he's still very young. And,
right.
But he ran the ball hard. He dove it up in there hard, and then, Luke come off the field a couple of times, and he said, Coach, I can read that one right there because the way they were lined up. He said, I can read that almost when they come to the line without having to mess with him. And I said, well, do it then. And he took it down the field several times, and then, we come back, and I thought he laid the prettiest pass he threw all year long up in the corner of Burt's over there.
Yes, he did.
No doubt.
I was really pleased. Well, I told one of my coaches, when we got the fumble, I called upstairs, and I told Coach Dunn, I said, I'm going to take a shot on one right here. I said, nobody does all year long. I'm just going to see if Burt's can climb a ladder on him. And we had the momentum, so he threw it, and, I mean, we call that a pylon pass, and he laid it in a bucket over there, so I was pretty pleased to see that. That was a big momentum changer.
Yes, sir, Coach. It was again a great effort Friday night, Coach, against an undefeated team. We knew they was going to be tough. I know you guys knew they was going to be tough, and they were. They were very tough. But hats off to you and the coaching staff and all the Mustangs on playing a good, tough match and never let the game get out of control. And talking about that, Coach, what do we got looking forward to coming playoff time? I know we got a bye week this Friday night, a well-deserved bye week, by the way. We're playing 0 through 9 weeks and finally getting the bye week. What's it looking like for us on playoff scenarios?
Well, we're in, and I'm sure that you'll hear around the state. Well, they don't deserve to be in. They've won three ball games. Well, we've won the 3 we needed.
Right, and, I agree.
It's no different than if we won 7. We won the 3 we needed, and we played a pretty tough schedule. So we're in. And for my guys, that's important because Friday night, everybody goes to 0-0. That
You're right.
7, that doesn't mean anything. And the good thing for us is that 3-7 will help us in the playoffs. Because when they look at us, they're going to say, oh, they're 3-7. I hope you do that.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Because my 3-7 is not your 3-7.
Exactly.
And, but what we're looking at is we're taking this week off. I told the seniors we don't do full pads in the playoffs, and I don't think any program does that. We may do some of it if we need it, but we're going to hone our skills. We're going to, I'll have some surprises up my sleeve. You know that.
Absolutely.
And I got to do that. But we're looking at being at home. I'm like 99% we're at home. Because I do know that we finished number 2, and I'm pretty sure every single number 1 and number 2, with the exception of a region where everything just felt perfect, they're all at home in the first or second round.
Right.
So there are several scenarios. One of them is the 3 teams that are in the West right now, Adamsville, Scottsdale, and Riverside, will come over to our quadrant with I think it's Forest, us, and Mount Pleasant.
I think you're right. Mount Pleasant's the one I'm looking at.
And if that happens, that's fine. Now there is a scenario that I'm kind of favoring, and it's there's a team from the West or from the East that can play their way in, and if they play their way in, then Middle Tennessee Christian will stay in 2A or stay in Quadrant 2. Which will give them, which will bump, I think it's Eagleville or Forest, or I'm sorry, Middle Tennessee Christian. One other will stay in Quadrant 2. And then it will be, if Forest wins and Huntland wins, then Forest will be the number 1, Mount Pleasant will be the number 2, we would be number 3. Riverside will be 4, Scottsdale 5, and then Eagleville 6.
So that was in that scenario. You're saying we're going to be Riverside?
No, if that happens, we'll be a number 3 playing Eagleville.
Okay.
And if it goes out the other way, then it's going to be us as the 4th seed because it'll be Adamsville. Well, let me start over. It's very complicated.
I understand.
But if Forest, because Forest beat Middle Tennessee Christian, if Huntland beats Middle Tennessee Christian this Friday night, then that gives Forest the number 2.
Okay.
Which makes Forest at a 7-3 team.
Yep.
We'll get the bye in our quadrant.
Correct.
And what that'll do is it will probably bump Adamsville over being the number 1. And then Mount Pleasant 3, us 4, Riverside 5, Scottsdale 6, and then Eagleville's out. But that puts us playing Riverside at home.
Hey.
I like it either way.
Yeah, we as long as we get the home game, Coach, we're looking forward to that.
I don't want to jinx, but I will say this because I've been a part of several home playoff games, either coaching them or playing in them or being around them, just being here. It is very hard to win a home playoff game at Loretto if you're a visitor.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking forward to next Friday night. Of course, this Friday night, again, Mustangs off on a much-needed bye week, looking at what happens in Week 10 of the season going into the playoffs. Coach, anything you'd like to add today?
No, I was proud of all the kids. It's been I know we haven't had exactly the record we want to, but this is what I told them. And I'll say this for the listeners out there, too. They were my kids when they started, and they're my kids now.
Yep.
And I love them, whether they're 3-7 or they're 10-0. But I told the seniors, I pulled them in this week, and I said, listen, a lot of you have been with me for 7 years. You've won 44 ball games in 7 years. And I said, that's an average of around 6.5 game wins a year. And I said, don't let one season where we've had a couple bad breaks and things not going away, injuries and so forth, define your book that is your career. Don't do that. Because you've had a wonderful career to this point. You write the last chapter how you want it. And you hold your head up at the fact that you continue to carry the Mustangs up because you're in the playoffs again this year. You were runner-up in the district just like the previous two. And you're Mustangs in my book as far as anybody else. And so I do think that they realize that because as a young kid, you can get caught up in the fact that, it's about a record. No, it's not. It's about how well you play with each other and what you learn from football and what you can carry on from here. If we won every game that we played in, we wouldn't play the game.
No, you'd already be slated to win.
Yeah, and now we fight hard too, but it's the challenge that keeps us coming back. And I've told you this before. I would coach it. I would have played it if they didn't keep scoring. But since they do, let's win the dang thing.
That's right. Hey, let's just win the district tournament or district playoffs starting next Friday night at Loretta. How you like that, Coach?
Oh, I hear you. That's what we're looking for. We're going to checkerboard them end zones, and we fixing to get after that. My coaches know that time of year. The kids have a bunch of older players that come in and hang out during that time, and we just have a good time right there. So.
Hey, good. Are you going to go to Lowe's and get the paint to paint the end zone? Did I hear that correctly last year?
Lowe's? No. No.
Well, now, Coach Boyd, you said it last year in a post-game interview. You go to Lowe's and get the paint if you had to.
I would go to Lowe's and get the paint if I had to. But I tell you what I do. I got a guy that works for Pioneer. If I call him, he can have it to me in 2 days. And what we do is if you come by, you'll see the lights on, and I welcome you to stop and visit with us. We don't let the boys touch anything. Our guys see us painting that field. And we're there late, in the rain, if it's cold, we don't care.
Hey, I've been there before. They really do. They are out there, rain or shine, cold or hot. It don't matter.
No, because there are some consequences to bad things and consequences to good things. And making a home playoff game is a great consequence. And we feel like that's our debt to pay to them. If they played hard for us, they've made it there. So we're going to get out and do that. And it's not easy, but we love doing it. So it looks cool too.
That's absolutely, right. Coach. It does. Can't wait to see that. Got Coach Lee Boyd with us, head coach of Loretta Mustang football team. Coach, best of luck to you. Enjoy your week off this week, even though I know you're still going to be working as hard as you always have as far as in the film room and all that good stuff. But, Coach, best of luck to you next Friday night, and we hope you bring the W home to Loretta and keep us going through the playoffs.
Thank you, buddy. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Lee Boyd, coach of the Loretta Mustangs high school football team, who's headed to the playoffs, hopefully hosting the first round of the playoffs at L.M. Forsyth Memorial Field in Loretto, Tennessee. Not this Friday night, but the following Friday night, be November the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, is the first Friday night in November. And looking forward to that. Best of luck again to Coach Boyd and the Loretta Mustangs in their endeavors going forward into the playoffs here at the end of the season. Again, that's Coach Lee Boyd. We're going to take us a break here at MustangsTV.com. Want to get some of our great sponsors in. We thank you for tuning in and joining us this evening. We'll be back after a word from these sponsors.
Southern Craft Manufacturing in Loretto, Tennessee blends old world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing for a multitude of steel and brushed finish caskets. Founder Rodney Robinson is dedicated to providing the finest quality at the best value. At Southern Craft Manufacturing, we are committed to choice with a variety of colors and hardware designs for limitless combinations. Southern Craft Manufacturing, North Main Street, Loretto. Toll free 800-413-1778.
At Southern Craft Manufacturing.
Tailgate checklist. Cooler.
Check.
Chips.
Check.
Hot dogs.
Check.
Mustang gear.
Check.
Insurance.
Check.
This season, protect your team with insurance from Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services. Keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Welcome back again, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania again. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Got Kyle Johnson, KJ, sitting in the studios with us this evening here on a Monday evening, trying to make your work week just a little bit better. Got one day down and a few to go this week, and we go on to talk sports here on Monday afternoons. We're with you each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And phone lines are always open, ladies and gentlemen. You heard Coach Boyd call in. You're more than welcome to call in, discuss Loretto football with us or Tennessee football or whatever. 931-629-1824 is our number here. If you'd like, you can shoot us an email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We'll try to answer any emails we get on the line during the show as well. And been seeing some things about UNA popping up on the screen over here as we try to stay in tune with what's going on right now at this time. And, KJ, you've been looking at a lot of stuff. And, one thing we got just right down the road, we're 25 minutes away from University of North Alabama and the Lions Den down there, and seeing something pop up where we've got a Gulf South Conference Player of the Week actually coming out of UNA.
Yeah, offensive quarterback Luke Wingo named the Gulf South Conference Player of the Week on offense, and I just want to, give a big congratulations out to Luke there. That's quite an honor, and UNA having a fantastic year, down there at Florence. They're undefeated, as I understand it. Says they currently rank number 1 in the super regions, 2 rankings, and the top 6 in each region make it to the playoffs, and 1 and 2 get first round byes. So, UNA keeps it up. I mean, they're going to get a first round bye and playoffs. I mean, that's just a fantastic job by the staff and all the football players down there at the University of North Alabama this year.
Absolutely, KJ, and congratulations, as KJ said, to Coach Bobby Wallace and his UNA Lions in their football season this year, having an excellent season. And KJ, I'm not sure how or even if you know Coach Bobby Wallace, but he's one of the most kind men and just down-to-earth, natural guys that you'll ever meet. Just because he doesn't try to talk to you in ways that you can't understand. He's going to talk to you in ways that you can understand, and he never talks above you or anything. I met Coach Wallace years ago when he was coaching at UNA on his first stint. I guess it was his first stint. It was a stint that I can remember while he was there anyway, and met him, got to talk to him. Actually went to a football camp there those years ago and enjoyed every second of it, every minute of it. And Coach Wallace is one of those coaches that doesn't – he is a football coach. Trust me, he is a diehard football coach and a hard-nosed football coach. But he also teaches you things on the field that helps you off the field as well, become a better young man. And I know Coach Wallace, that's probably one thing that he'll want to be remembered for, because I've heard him actually say that, is that he just wants people to look at him as, whether they look at him as a good coach or not, as teaching these young men to do right, know right from wrong and do right instead of do wrong. And, again, hats off to Coach Bobby Wallace on this great season he's had.
I've never met him, but I definitely want to, because I've heard nothing but good things about him. Just nothing but good things.
Great guy. I'm sure he would never remember me, but I'll tell you what, I'll never forget the meeting with Coach Bobby Wallace and the times that I've actually been around him, and to even see him during the week. And unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to go watch UNA this year. I'd love to, and I'm probably going to make it down for at least one game.
We need to go
this year. We need to go as Mustang TV, but just he does a great job. Congratulations to him. I also want to get out a congratulations to. We was talking about the Loretto Lady Mustangs in volleyball. I want to congratulate our friends up to the north. Summertown Lady Eagles, advanced in the state playoffs in the losers bracket. They went on and
made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, made a big run at it, and congratulations to those ladies as well up there. Congratulations, Lady Eagles, on your run there at the championship in ladies volleyball. And a lot of things going on around our county. Congratulations going out to Lawrence County High School Wildcats football team. They're going to be playing Friday night for actually the district championship. It comes down between them and Chevyville. Whoever wins this game is actually the district champion. So congratulations going out to our friends, the Lawrence County High School Wildcats. And, even though they're a county rivalry, KJ, a lot of people, I don't like them because they're Lawrence County. Well, and then you got Summertown. I don't like Loretto because they're Loretto. Either way, you need to support your home county, your hometown first, then your county rivals next, because, hey, we're all in this county together. We're all in this thing together. We're all in the great state of Tennessee, and we're all in the great United States of America. So I urge everyone to get out and support. If you can't support your own home team because they're out of it or whatever, support your nearby neighbors, so to speak. And, again, congratulations going out to both these. Got a lot of good things going on, a lot of good athletes, good high school athletics going on. And, again, basketball upcoming. Let's get into a little college football, though, here on Sports Talk Mania, KJ. We had our Tennessee Volunteers take a whooping Saturday against the University of Alabama and Crimson Tide. For you, Big Fred, Roll Tide, I guess. But, the thing that got me, KJ, and I'm not saying that anybody else has done any better, you got to cover Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what, you got to cover Amari Cooper. Let's look back. The only loss that the University of Alabama has had this season is against Ole Miss. And looking back at the Ole Miss game and things I can remember of how Ole Miss actually probably, withheld and beat Alabama, is because they double-teamed Amari Cooper all daggum ball game. I guarantee you there was time and time again that you would see at least two people covering Amari Cooper for the Ole Miss Rebels. Why can't Tennessee? Why can't these other teams do that against him? I know he's a great player, one of the best that there is. I know he's that good. But you know what? When you double-team him, you're taking away. Of course, you're giving, other talent an opportunity. Even like Coach Boyd said, excuse me, you take one away, they've got other weapons.
Well, I'm sure that, that's probably something that, the Tennessee coaching staff looked at doing in the film study and, talking to other, scouts and everything. Can we double team Amari Cooper? And, for whatever reason, I guess they decided not to do that. Now, I will confess I had some plans going on Saturday. I was not able to watch the game. I know a lot of you folks are going, what? KJ didn't watch the Alabama-Tennessee game?
The man that went to just about every Tennessee game this year.
The biggest, Tennessee, one of the biggest Tennessee guys I know. But Now there was one reason that I did not watch the game, and that is I've been helping in the Judgment House over there at First Baptist in Loretta, and so that's don't think that I didn't keep check on what was going on though during that time. Definitely pulled my phone out a little bit there and checked on the score and all that, but. Well,
the first half wasn't pretty, KJ. I'll tell you that right now.
I have heard that, but I'll tell you what, Haygood. You see the final score. Alabama won by 14.
Right.
I'll be honest, and I think a lot of Tennessee fans would agree with me here. If you had told me before the game that we would lose by 14 points, I would just about say you were crazy, because I'll admit, and don't get me wrong, I'm one of the biggest Vol fans you will ever see in your life. But I'm also a realist, in that I know that, although I do want to see the Vols win every single game, I know that it's not going to happen. It'll probably never happen, because every team, all it takes is just one bad performance, and, you've lost the game. But I feel like, with what we had, the offense being, as banged up as we were, obviously the rumors out before the game about Worley, going to be out of the ball game with an injury, and then we had to go with Peterman in at quarterback, to start the game, and all things considered, I really felt like. We didn't play that bad of a ball game, and you look at the positives, you always try to look at positives in any kind of loss. I mean, one big positive for me that comes up, and one thing that I've heard everybody that I've talked to say, hey, we found a new starting quarterback, and I'll say, oh, so you mean Worley is out for the rest of the year? And they'll say, well, I don't know, but they're crazy if they don't start Dobbs. And I'm saying, oh, okay, well, hey, that's a good positive. We found a quarterback that we know can step in, that can run the football. He's obviously improved his arm strength and able to get those throws to the receivers. At least he did against Alabama, And, one thing I saw earlier, Coach Jones, in his weekly press conference today, he was asked about the quarterback situation. He said, Coach, what do you, they released the depth chart for South Carolina today, just like they do every week, and he had all three quarterbacks on there. He said, guys, I'm not ready to name a starter yet, and there's some people that say, well, he's crazy for not naming a starter yet. What's he doing? And I think what he's doing is you want to give Steve Spurrier three possible people to worry about. You want him to draw up that game plan for all three quarterbacks and say, okay, well, instead of focusing on one, on strengths and weaknesses, well, all of a sudden you got to prepare for three. So I think Coach Jones knows what he's doing. Now, in the end, I don't know. I seem to lean toward even if Worley is able to go and he says, listen, I'm fine, I can go, which I don't think will happen, because I've heard he's, he couldn't hardly lift his arm up above his shoulder, and just in, of a lot of pain. But even if, a miracle happens and he says, hey, I'm good to go, I still think Coach Jones will go with Josh Dobbs. Now, I could be wrong. That's just my personal opinion, but I think that he gives us the best chance to get to a bowl game this year, which is what we're looking for.
Well, here's a conversation I had with a guy today, and he's kind of a Auburn fan / Alabama fan, if there's such a thing. But there's
such a thing?
There is. He's kind of realistic, though, just like I am. I look at everything, and I want to be a realist about it. I want to put the different scenarios out there, scenarios, if you would rather me say it that way. And here's what I asked him. Okay, look at what, he was bragging about how good Dobbs did, and Josh Dobbs did an excellent job. I'm not going to say he didn't. But here's my question that we got into a discussion with him about is at the preseason, who sees these players before we do, as far as us being fans, watching them on TV or watching them at Neyland Stadium on Saturday. Who sees these? Coach Butch Jones and his coaching staff, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so at the starting of the season, you're looking at spring practice, spring training, however you want to look at that, and the fall workouts before the first ball game, you're seeing these players play. Well, at that point in time, they come up and said, Justin Worley is our best option. He is the best quarterback coming out of this. Well, guess what? He was looking at Worley, Peterman, Dobbs, and a couple of other quarterbacks as well. Actually, there were 6 that was on their depth chart at the very start of the year. He sees all these, KJ. So he's made his mind up that Worthy gives us the best chance to win in ball game number 1, which was Utah State, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah.
He gives us the best chance to win in that particular ball game and go throughout the season. We're going to redshirt Josh Dobbs, hopefully have him an extra season. Instead of him being sophomore, junior, senior, he'll be a fifth-year senior playing for us as well, which is a great idea. However, that tells me that the coaching staff, Butch Jones and the coaching staff at the University of Tennessee, thought that Justin Worley was the better quarterback at the time coming out of fall practice.
Right.
Had they not, I'm sure Josh Dobbs would have been our starter week 1 against Utah State. Justin Worley was our starter. So that tells me that at that point in time, Worley was better. I'm not saying that Worley's gotten worse as the season went. Bless his heart, he gets killed back there. And I'm not a Justin Worley fan, so don't think that. However, you've got to take things in stride. We've got a young line that's not protecting anyone. Now, the thing that I will say Josh Dobbs gives us is that set of legs, because Worley does not run that much.
Right.
And if you're not going to be able to give your quarterback time to throw the ball, maybe you do need to go with Dobbs. I just hate that we wasted Dobbs for a half a season, if that's the case. And now we've brought him in for the last half of the season, which, you had to take the red shirt off of him when you played him Saturday night. So now that leaves him with the remainder of this season, and in 2 more seasons, all you can get. Which, again, I'm not saying that he's not our best option at this point in time. With Worley being injured somewhat and taking a pounding back in the pocket just about every Saturday, he may be our go-to guy. And if he is, hey, we need to utilize him now. We've got him. We've took the red shirt off of him. We started playing him. So I'm fine with playing Dobbs. I think he done an excellent job Saturday night. I think he brought a spark to our offense, especially after Peterman. And I'm not saying that Peterman's terrible, but Peterman's just not showed me anything the years he's been at Tennessee.
Yeah, I've heard that from several Vol fans, that this Peterman just hasn't, just hasn't showed us anything to say, I deserve playing time. And I think that's somewhat been reflected, of what we've seen so far. I don't, it's always, I've always been of the opinion you can practice as a coach with a kid every single day in the off season and during the season, and you can say, well, I think that Haygood's going to be a better option for quarterback than KJ. But, until you put the kids in that situation, you just don't know what they're going to do, and I mean, there's just no way to know until they're put out there.
And that may have been Coach Jones and his staff's thoughts going into the season. Hey, we've got a decent line. Even though they're young, we've got a decent line. Well, guess what? It's turned out that, and I'm not saying our linemen's not doing a great job, because in reality, I think they're doing a good job.
They're doing the best they can.
For the experience that we got
for
at
the age that they are. Yep.
So with that being said, I think that may be the reason that Dobbs has actually come in, because we can't protect our quarterback. Bring Dobbs in, let him kind of do some scrambling, because Worley's not that good at scrambling. So let's bring Dobbs in, let him do some scrambling and go throughout the season. And I agree with you. I think he's probably, at this point in time, our best option to carry us to 3 more victories if he can do it. And I hope he can. I would love – the main reason I want to see Tennessee go to a bowl game is not the glory of the bowl game, by no means. And I'm sure Coach Jones and his staff will tell you the same thing. It's not that, hey, yay, we made it to a bowl game. I think the main thing about that is, guess what? That gives you 1 extra month of practice to practice with these young players that we got, having a young team, having the young talent that Butch Jones has recruited this past year, and finally get them a little bit more practice, a little bit more into the game scenario of I was going to call it a playoff game, a bowl game. And I think that is more important than the bowl itself. Hey, I want to see us win every ball game, just like you alluded to earlier. We would love to see it, but we are realists, and we know we're not going to. But let's win out. Let's maybe not even win out. We got to win 3 more ball games. Let's beat Kentucky. Let's beat Vanderbilt. And I don't forget who we even got coming up this particular Saturday. But let's win 3 more ball games.
South Carolina.
So that's right. We got Steve Spurrier, South Carolina. You mentioned that earlier, and I just went off the end of my tongue.
It's okay. Haygood. It's all right.
I forget every now and then, unfortunately. I know I'm as awesome as they are, but I still forget. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back here to close out the show. We've still got a few minutes left. Anybody like to call? We know you out there. We know you listening. Give us a call, 931-629-1824. We'll be glad to take your phone calls after a message from some of our great sponsors.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Southern Craft Manufacturing in Loretto, Tennessee blends old world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing for a multitude of steel and brushed finish caskets. Founder Rodney Robinson is dedicated to providing the finest quality at the best value. At Southern Craft Manufacturing, we are committed to choice with a variety of colors and hardware designs for limitless combinations. Southern Craft Manufacturing, North Main Street, Loretto. Toll free 800-413-1778.
Welcome back with us again, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania. Again, I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Got KJ in the studio with us this evening. Got about 5 minutes remaining in today's show. We're here with you each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Been a good show so far. I want to thank Coach Lee Boyd with the Loretto Mustangs football for joining us and giving his outlook on this past Friday night's loss to Columbia Academy, as well as kind of giving us a little insight of what we're looking forward to coming up for playoff time. Again, the Loretto Mustangs being off this Friday night, bye week, week 10, and getting to actually sit at the house. And I'm going to tell you what, KJ, those 4 road games in a row and the distances that we had to go to these games, a couple of them anyway, it wore me out, and the travel, the whatever, so I know our young football players was worn out as well.
Hey, it didn't wear me out. I love traveling.
Well, the traveling's okay, but when you got to do it 4 Fridays in a row like we did, and I know it took a toll on our young players as well, and I'm sure they enjoy it, especially to Trousdale County. They had them charter bus, so they traveled a whole lot more comfortable than we did in the old Trailblazer, but that was neither here nor there. Again, congratulations to Coach Boyd on making the playoffs. Like he said, a 3-7 record. Most people's going to say, you should have never been in the playoffs, or you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But again, like he said, you won the most important games you needed to win, and that was within your district. So, again, Loretto Mustangs going to the playoffs. hopefully being able to host the first round at LM Forsyth Memorial Field right in Loretto, Tennessee. And again, I want to say best of luck to and best wishes going out to the Lawrence County High School Wildcats. I hope you guys go over. Actually, I'm not sure if that game's at home Friday night, but I know the Lawrence County Wildcats take on Shelbyville Friday night, and that game is going to determine the district champion for Lawrence County High School. So best wishes to the Wildcats. Let's bring one home, guys. Bring the W home to Lawrence County, and let's win the district and hopefully go far into the playoffs as well. KJ, you was bringing up some basketball schedule coming up. I know you and I was talking about some things coming up for the MustangsTV.com. Got Big Fred show going to be returning every Thursday night. I believe you was telling me during the break.
That's the plan. Going to have Big Fred back every Thursday night. I would give you a little rundown on some of the shows we got coming up, but you know what? He just keeps it random. I mean, you never know what Big Fred's going to be planning, and that's about how it goes. He'll usually tell me on Mondays, what we're going to be doing for the Thursday show, and I say, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You just never know what you're gonna get there.
Well, this past Thursday night, though, another, to get into our Friday night pink out game, which, like Coach Boyd said, a lot of we sit here and talk about sports like it's something, and it is to us. But it's nothing. It's like he said, it's a speck in the scheme of things in real life situations and all. And that's what Pink Out Night was. It was more importantly for being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the month of October, and that's what it was mainly for. And that's the reason the Farm Bureau and others pitched in and got these 35 Pink Out games around the state of Tennessee this football season, and they was having several each Friday night, in the month of October to make up that 35 games. And again, my hat's off to all these people that put that together. It was just an excellent atmosphere, and it really made you think of real life. And football is just football. It is a game. And basketball is basketball. It's just a game as well. The most important thing is we were remembering what the Pink Out game was for Friday night, and just an excellent atmosphere for a football game. Or to be at a football game. The helicopter landing, the pink jerseys, all that. And again, we wish the best to all these people that's fighting breast cancer. And the ones that's defeated breast cancer, hey, we're all for you. Thank God that you've actually defeated that thing that no one even likes. It's like a dirty word when you say cancer. So, again, hats off to everyone that made that happen. And Big Fred show Thursday night, was mainly dedicated to breast cancer survivors.
Had a great show.
It was a great show. I believe y'all was at the Mustang Cafe Thursday night. Is that? I think that's where y'all had the show at.
Yeah.
I was actually having to announce some youth football Thursday night, so I wasn't able to attend. I would have loved to have been there, but sounds like it was a great show and everything went well.
I heard you from the parking lot.
Yeah, KJ, I got to tell you a story. KJ comes up to me and he says, I thought when I got out of the vehicle that somebody was playing one of our games back on MustangsTV.com, that you can go back and kind of watch, some of the highlights and stuff from the ball games and what have you. And KJ said, man, I just know I thought they had it up, turned up loud, and I was listening to it while I was walking in. He said, by the time I walked in the door, I realized, well, that is Haygood over there calling the ball game at the football field. It was live, KJ. It wasn't on no recording.
Yeah, I could hear you all the way from the parking lot at the Mustang Cafe, which from the football field to the Mustang parking lot, I mean, if you drew it a straight line, it would be
300 yards?
Yeah, about 300 yards. So
maybe. I
was getting the direct sound coming through right there all the way over to the parking lot. But that's all right. I didn't. It kind of caught me off guard because as soon as I stepped out of my vehicle, I heard it, and it wasn't a loud and clear, sound. So I didn't know. I thought, well, I listened for a second. I said, could it be coming from inside the Mustang? And I said, well, it's a possibility. And then I was getting some things together for the show to take in, and the more I listened, I thought, he's over there. Haygood's over there announcing that football game over at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. So that's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in and joining us this afternoon. Be back here with you next Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope to have another great show then. It's been a great show. I want to thank Coach Boyd again for giving us a phone call and telling us what his thoughts was about Friday's game and the upcoming playoff scenarios possibly, and look forward to the next show. KJ, you
Absolutely.
got anything to add?
Let's try to get some basketball coaches on the show next week.
I'm planning on that already. Thought about
Miss
that.
Ashley Rutledge and Coach Micah Rochester. So we're going to try to get them on next Monday and just get a little update from the first week of practice. And
Hopefully
just see,
get something going on with the basketball season coming upon us quickly. KJ, as you said, like I'd already thought about that today. I'm going to shoot those guys a message to see if they can't join us this coming Monday night on Sports Talk Mania. Look forward to talking with them, hopefully. Look forward to talking with all of you guys out there as well. For tonight's show, I'm Lee Haygood.
I'm Kyle Johnson.
Everyone have a great week. See you next week, 6 o'clock on Sports Talk Mania, right here on MustangsTV.com. See ya.